Okay. So, Andy, today we sat down with a young adult and, we discovered a lot. What were the five things that young business owner, you know, needed from the beginning, the information, and what are five other things that he should, think about in the near future?
Okay. Great sitting down with the youth.
Mm-hmm.
Love to do that, especially someone that's out there and working hard. You
Yes.
know, um, a little context. This
Mm-hmm.
gentleman has been working a car detailing
Mm-hmm.
business, basically straight out of high school,
Yes.
and has been successful. And mainly sitting down with him today, he needed to understand um, how to legitimize the business, right? And many businesses start this way, where like a local business that's real famous, TKB,
Yeah.
those kids started out by selling cookie dough door to door in their neighborhood. Now, at that time, did they create an LLC? Did they, process payments,
Yeah.
through a business account? No, right? It started out very kind of innocent, right, as
Mm-hmm.
far as in the business world goes. And then they built a business out of that. And the gentleman we sat down with today is kind of in that same position where he's created a business, but there's some big risks to that business because he doesn't have an entity formed. Payments are just going to him personally. He hasn't, you know, um, he hasn't filed taxes appropriately for that business, and probably is not insured or covered that way. So today it was it was fantastic to first let him know, hey, you're 21 years old. That always blows my mind. Roy, the way that you've impacted youth to where like I meet these kids at 21, 22, where they're at is, I mean, you just got to go to sleep real well at night knowing you've changed the lives of
Well,
these kids.
the way you're saying that's the same way with you, right? The way you have impacted my life the last 5 6 years. So I could only imagine what would have done for me, right, at 14 15 years old, and still having that relationship to be like, I remember you talking to me about
Yeah.
that, but deciding and figuring it out or asking the right people, right?
Yeah.
The how to do it sooner than later. Because seeing what my son, right? That's the seeing what my son just my God, seeing what he's gonna be, where it's going. It's so shocking, but it's like, what? Why couldn't we do this sooner? But again, God's plan is better than our plan. I met you 6 years ago. So, and you were such an inviting person to educate me and inform me about that stuff and be excited about it. It's rare when you find that. So I have that same, but for football, for the young athletes, you did
Yeah.
that for me. So I'm like, okay, I'm passing it on of what I'm learning. So today, sitting down with that young adult, it allowed all of us to be like, man,
Ugh,
bro, you're
the excitement, right?
yes,
To
like
mold the youth and to, it's like you said, like, and I'm in the same boat. Like, man, to see what you're doing for your kids, right?
yeah,
And where they're going to be when they're your age
yeah,
versus kind of where you were at their age and what was taught to you. It's really about a legacy. It's
yeah.
about changing the trajectory of your family line,
Mm-hmm.
and the people in your life. And we're really just blessed to meet some of these kids that you've kind of got to a very specific place mentally,
Mm-hmm.
right, to where they have an amazing mindset, and to see a few of them to go out and accomplish things that I would I would think would take the maturity level of a 26, almost a 30-year old. It's just a joy. It's a treasure, so to be able to kind of give some guidance around that is it fills my cup up. You know what I mean? It,
Oh,
it makes me feel really good.
no,
So
well,
it's kind
you
of selfish.
no, but again, it's the unselfish that you're not being selfish. You're being unselfish. You're sharing that,
Yeah.
right? What when I think about selfishness is you're holding that back. You're only keeping
Yeah.
it to yourself. You're not doing that. You're sharing it with the great attitude, with the great intention that you can be wealthier than me,
Oh yeah.
right? And I want you to be.
Yeah, I hope
Uh,
so.
yeah, I hope so,
That's why I'm
right?
talking to you young, because there was no one there to talk to me young, and it's real hard to lose the earlier you start,
Yes.
and so a lot of folks feel behind wherever
Mhm.
you're at, right? You might feel behind because there's always a benchmark of, well, I'm not Elon Musk,
Yeah.
right? Or something, there's no limit to how high you can go. So it's really like, how early can you start? And then it's not just a destination of where you're going, but kind of finding that the journey isn't about the destination.
Mm-hmm.
It's about enjoying the ride,
Yeah.
right? And talking to youth and young folks, it fills me up with joy because I know how much more of the ride they're going to get to enjoy, right? By having that peace of mind of, I have a safety net.
Mm-hmm.
I'm covered business wise, where I can focus on growing this into something that's really can change lives, can change the community, as opposed to, I'm surviving, right? And it's a lot of them at survival mode, watching them transition into thrive and watching the kind of mind open up to, oh, like that can be me, like Ezekiel or some of the projections for your kids when you look at that and go, oh, that 5 years when you're young is going to make the biggest difference
Oh yeah.
on the back end. So having the opportunity to talk to the youth at 21, it just, you could tell, we had a great conversation and we're just really excited about it because here's a clear path for you that you probably didn't even know how to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Am I on the right path? You just had the passion, determination to make it. And it's like, okay, you've done that. Now, where do we go? How do we get better? How do we legitimize this so it can go on and on and on? And you move from employee to boss,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you're not working in the business, you're working on the business. And as you know, someone's been working on your business since you started,
Yep.
and to see where you've come from starting to where you're at today, and the benefits that provides your life. And he even knew it. He was like, I see you doing the things you love, coaching. Your wife doesn't work. You
Yeah.
guys spend time together. You're there for your kids. You go on vacation. To see you living that life is really an example that they're looking at.
Yeah.
Whether they say it or not, they're absolutely looking at it. And it's a real special thing to be able to be a part of that.
And also like for him to I told him, everyone's rich life is different,
Hmm.
and that's where we need to have that understanding, like what is your rich life, because it's definitely different than my rich life. So your rich life is totally different than my rich life.
Well, and the difference between rich
Mm-hmm.
and wealthy,
Yeah.
right? A lot of pathways to be rich,
Mm-hmm.
right? And a lot of metrics on what does that measure. But it's like at the end, I said, man, if you're happy and you are passionate and enjoy what the things that you're doing, and it provides you the time to spend with your family and to give back and to do those things, there isn't a number
Yeah.
to that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a place you need to be as far as, your life. And we can get there with a plan. And, it's just to see his brain working through that was just something special, something
it's,
cool.
it's something we will never forget, right? But also for him too, like it was a lot of aha moments for
Yeah.
him, and which at first it was like, oh man, this is hard, and we're like, no, you already did the hardest part,
Right.
which is building the business.
Right. You
You know,
figured out
yeah.
how to get into business.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, we just got to legitimize it. And it's just things you don't know. And to be fully transparent to you, I'm not some sort of super tax expert,
Yeah.
lawyer, business entity person, but I know the people that are.
Yes.
And to kind of be able to, point him in the right direction and say, okay, see what you're doing. Very basically, you need to talk to this person, this person, this person, and have no fear around that. And, I will go with you, or
Yeah.
here's the questions to ask. Um, just as you could tell he was relieved
Yeah.
because he knows, he's like, okay, I'm generating income, but at some point I have to, someone's going to come calling for the government share. Am I doing it right? If something goes wrong,
Yep.
so to point him in that right direction of just legitimizing everything, and putting him on the path of being more of a CEO owner than being the employee. I could tell he was fired up about it.
And also the investment that you need to be in hiring other people to help
Yeah.
you with that, right? So he can do more. And
Yeah, the mindset
yeah,
around growth, right,
Mhm.
isn't just, he's working 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, we can look at your business and give you some coaching, but if you're maxed out and you're doing the most profitable thing you can every single day of the week, the maximum you can, that's the ceiling,
Yeah.
is that number. And so to get him in that mindset of, okay, I need to leverage other people in order to grow,
Hmm.
and get above that level, I think really kind of opened his mind to that type of thinking
Oh
of,
yeah.
there is a cap to what I'm doing now. There is a cap to that. And he hadn't really considered it. You could tell
Yeah.
when we actually boiled it down to the numbers and said, here's the max.
Yeah.
How do you get beyond that? He was like, oh yeah, I can't just work 20 hours in a day, right? Like something has to be different. And to get him to understand, like, it's the leverage of, being the business owner, and, you know, being in that position to kind of share in that
Hmm.
wealth and bring other people into your world in order to grow. I think that was a special and definitely an aha moment, for him.
Yeah. No. So I appreciate you doing that again from the bottom of your heart, and him being a blessing, you're being a blessing to him. He's gonna be also more of a blessing to other people because the conversations now get more real, more serious, and more intentional about what should I do.
Right.
And now you're having like you're being curious. It's
Yeah.
like, should I do that? Should I? Not? Let me call Andy. Let me call Roy. Is this right?
Yeah.
Is this right? And then we're like, ask this person, and then you'll get your answer,
Yeah.
right? But at least now they're not scared of asking, which is always the big thing. It's the asking part is the always people holding back. It's like asking for business.
Yeah.
People are, oh, I don't want to bother them. Well, how are you going to get business?
Yeah. It's like, I would use today as a great example is, thank you for introducing me to
Hmm.
this person.
Yeah.
Right. Because now they're in my life, and, life is about connections.
Yeah.
It's about the relationships. Right. And, kind of giving him that analogy of, if I gave you $10 million today, but you couldn't wake up tomorrow, would you take the 10 million? He's like, no. I'm
Yeah.
like, so that just tells you where you're at, is that life is the most precious thing, the relationships, the legacy, right? It isn't the new car,
Yeah.
right? We talked about the new car, kind of the feeling versus, creating generational security for your family.
Giving, when you keep bringing up, like, what if you gave 10 grand to your mom?
Yeah.
What would that do for you, and what would that do for them?
Yeah.
Like that's a whole different type of joy, right? That you will never forget,
Yeah,
right?
it's interesting to see how emotional people get when we get to that part of the
Yeah,
conversation,
yes,
because you
yes.
always know when I bring it in, and really try and tie people back to, understanding really the value
Hmm.
of money. And it's not just the things, right? To be able to talk to someone before they have to learn the hard way that the things are never going to satisfy you. That's real temporary.
Yeah.
And taking care of the people in your life and creating a legacy for a generation of your family, those type of motivational things, you can tell, like, in every conversation, the person we're sitting across from, it gets emotional.
Oh yeah.
They start to understand, like, oh, that money is good for the good that it can do.
Yeah.
And sure, items are great, and there's good to have goals and stuff like that, but let's stay grounded, and let's work on what's really important first, and save the step of learning the hard way of money can't buy you, happiness.
Hmm.
And the things that you're kind of seeking in those goals, those are great to have,
Yeah.
but I want you to be mindful of the impact that that money could also make somewhere else in your family's lives, and doing those things. That's legacy. That's powerful, and you see it impacting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again,
It
I don't
hits.
know if we've made through one where everyone's not almost crying. You just
Yeah.
know how to
Yeah.
save him, because getting emotional, and I get emotional about it too, because I just know, like with you, it's like you're changing lives.
Yeah.
You're changing lives.
Well, yeah, you talked about their parents because of course they don't got kids, but for me it was my kids, and I shared you that picture right away as soon as
Oh,
that happened, man. And I gave you a long paragraph or essay that be like how grateful I am because of those conversations. You never gave up, and also reminding, and for me to do that, oh my god, like that
yeah,
was a huge thing. And for my kids now to even say every time they get money, they're like, uh remember what John Mark said?
yeah. It's different.
Save
You've
half.
changed.
Yep.
You've literally changed the trajectory of their lives, by starting them into investing now. And it's not like that's abnormal.
Yeah.
It's just in the communities that we're speaking in, oftentimes it isn't the norm, right? And so to meet people there
Yeah.
and say, hey, you're included, you're invited, like this is belongs to you too.
Man, just like having this conversation, and in our culture, right? It's a big quinceañeras,
Right.
quinceañeras. And one thing that you brought to me is you're like, hey, bro, you want your dream car? Yes. Open an investment account.
You start making that payment
Start
now
making a
before
payment,
you have the
right?
car.
So I was thinking, and now it just clicked on me. I'm like, man, the message that we can get out there in my side of the culture would be like, hey, you have a daughter? As soon as you have a daughter, open that account.
Yep.
Because 15 years from now, you're gonna probably think, should I do the quinceañera or not? Am I in debt because of that, or I invested and now
Right.
we can make that a dream? So, oh my god, that just right now is like a light bulb in
And
my head.
that happens with a lot of corporate careers,
Mm-hmm.
right? And government kind of careers where they're immediately, okay, come in, you got your pension, here's your money, you're going to meet with a financial planner, they're going to show you, hey, this is your take home, here's where you need to go, as far as investment wise, and they can show you projections like Ezekiel and Emily got their projections
Yeah.
of what $100 a month does over 65 years, right? um, it's not abnormal.
Yeah.
Right. It's that's kind of what happens in a lot of places. What happens, sometimes in the community is that it's so worker focused that it's so like, I gotta survive.
Yeah.
I gotta pay first.
Everything.
Right. And then
Right.
you come to this scarcity mindset instead of saying like, hey, start here and start easy,
Mm-hmm.
right, with what you can do. And I'll talk to you in 5 years. I'll talk to you in 10 years, because at that time you will have learned that lesson
Yeah.
better than I could have ever told you, when you look at that number and kind
Yeah.
of start understanding compound interest and,
Yeah.
tax mitigation and things like that. It becomes really powerful, I think, in people's lives to even feel like they're included in that.
Yeah.
And then they become powerful, start reaching out, and it just spreads. And I really am passionate, like you are, about impacting the local community and elevating everybody around us.
That's what we do. And in the Reverie group, we elevate every move, we elevate every person we meet.
Yeah.
And that way, we're always a blessing, and God always blesses the hardest workers. So, and we're doing it, we're putting out there good things to the universe. You always talk about, hey, tell the universe it's good or bad, but you're going to get that back.
Yeah.
So, and if we're always spreading love and we're always spreading the positivity and the right information, you know, we're always going to get something back in return in the
Yeah.
future.
And
Right.
not everyone's going to hear the message, right?
Correct.
And I think that's a great thing that we touch on in the
Mhm.
business consultation, right? About, once you achieve these next steps, I'd
Yeah.
like you to start considering beyond that and how you can also impact, right? Like
Yeah.
it's always tied to what could that do, not just for yourself where you're stable and you're building wealth, but then your ability to pass on, your ability to help create legacy and wealth in other people's lives. That's where you start to see that mindset kind of go like, wait a minute, I can be a leader. I can be kind of the driving force, not just in my family line, but my neighbors, my friends, and talking about that hard lesson of not everyone's going to hear it.
Mm-hmm.
When the student's ready, the teacher appears.
Yes.
Right. And you've got these guys so good that it's not like everyone we sit down and talk with, but the kids that come in who've kind of been through your program, the student is ready.
Yes.
And so at 21, to see these guys in here at 21, 22, 23, building a big life at that point gives me chills. It's a testament to the kind of work ethic and how you've brought them up to be leaders through football.
Man, but again, I wouldn't have been able to do that without your teaching too, all the information. But you and Alan, have been a big, like, I don't know how big I can say it in that perspective, how big an impact you guys have made in personally, right? In my family, my business, just overall, right? Guiding me and letting me know. You guys check me here and there, like, bro, are you sure? Are you, so I love
Don't
that.
ever ask me if you should buy a car.
Yeah. So that's what I want. That's what I need.
Yeah.
Is for someone to tell me that, right? Because we all get into that. Oh, I think I could buy it, right? And then you're like, well, let's talk about it. And as soon as that first 2 sentences come in, I'm like, no, I shouldn't do it.
Yeah,
so
it's human nature,
correct,
to feel those ways, right? With one of the other gentlemen that we've sat down, that we've kind of been coaching now since we first sat down. I have to walk through with him oftentimes and say, listen, it's normal to feel like, oh my God, I'm doing well. Let me get the thing. Mm-hmm. Right. Let me get this other thing, and kind of have that feeling. The world around us is like, tells you to be a consumer and to elevate your status through these things. It just gives us that opportunity to kind of shift and reframe that mindset around, okay, you could buy the car, right? Or you could put a brick down in the foundation for not just your life, your family's life, for beyond. And you see, they start to think bigger. Mm-hmm. And that's when I see it happen in real time. That's the part where I'm just like, that feels good, because I know that I'll get a phone call, much like you get, right, in 5 years, where it's just, hey, I just want to say thank you. Yeah. Like, you said some stuff and it sounded foreign, or it sounded hard at the time. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to buy the Mercedes, but instead I opened this account. I, was consistent and made a commitment to myself to do things that would build a foundation over time. And I'm not even there yet, but because I started on that journey, the door is opening and I'm seeing what's beyond that. And it isn't the joy of a new car, which wears off very quickly. It's I retired my mom. Mm-hmm. I paid off my mom's car. Yeah. I added another vehicle to my business, and now I'm doing double revenue. Right. And that has provided me the ability to go get the new car. Yeah. Right. I did it the right way. Just kind of watching the mind expand into that is something really special, especially with young people, man.
Well, you keep saying it a lot, and it it's in my head. It's like, work very hard the first 5 years to establish the next 30 years to be easy, versus making it easy the first 5 years, and the next 30 years going to be hard.
Right. 5 hard years for 30 easy years, or 5 easy years for 30 hard years. Dude. Start early, do the work, and it's just a little bit further. Yeah. Right. It's just a little bit further. I know where you're at. I know what the world's telling you. But if you can hang on, put yourself in the uncomfortable position of growth. Yeah. Right. Real growth around legacy, wealth building, and those things, while the people around you tell you, they just want your money or this or that. If you can make it through that, your world looks dramatically different in 5 or 10 years.
They're going to be asking you for advice.
100%.
When the beginning,
you're going to be this person where your friends come to you and say, like, wait, you have a business. Yeah. your vacation. Like he just said to you, like, I see the life you're living. You're full of joy. You
Yeah.
do the things you love. You pour into coaching. The schedule's open. You're changing life. You're helping people. And by doing that, you get to live a profitable life, right? Like
Yeah.
you get paid to do that, to help people, to change lives. Like that's like you're living the dream. You are. I mean,
Yeah.
we are.
We
So
are.
it's really to kind of spread that to folks and have some be able to receive it. That's what it's all about. That's why we're doing it. That's why we're
Yeah.
sitting down.
Well, can't wait too many more, right? Too many more.
Listen, we'll sit down with anyone, have a chat. I mean, I told you it's very selfish to me
Uh,
because it fills my cup up, and just to see the look in his eye and kind of that emotional place we often get to watch folks walk out of here kind of changed
yeah.
and ready for what's next in an excited kind of there is no limit kind of way instead of kind of I'm scared
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to hold on to what I have. It's like no, we've got to grow this. You've got to get bigger, and that's the fun part.
Nice.
Yep.
Well, till next episode, and stay tuned.
Great sitting down with you, bud. See you soon. Give us a call. Elevate every single move.
Yay, yay.